in 2012 focusing on education and free SHS.
I don't think it's a secret that I have made education the top priority in the future Akufo-Addo government, God willing. And I'm doing so for a very simple reason. The development of our human resources is the single most important matter that we have to address and resolve, if indeed we are going to transform our economy and generate prosperity for the mass of our people.
This particular 2012 campaign even produced a song on free SHS.
Teacher first, hooray! Mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles, grandma and grandpa, help the children of Ghana by voting for Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP for free SHS.
How? Help the NPP to help us go all the way through. Free SHS is the key. Vote for Nana and the NPP. Thank you.
We are happy, we thank you, Nana. We are happy, we thank you, Nana Akufo-Addo. We are very, very happy. The children of Ghana are so happy with the free SHS. Free senior high school, quality education. Teacher first, hooray! Mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles.
Ultimately, though, it was Muhammadu Bawumia's narrative that stood out clearly.
Was what allowed us as the MPP under President Kufuor to introduce the National Health Insurance against the protests of the NDC. We didn't stop there. We added the National Youth Employment Program. We added the school feeding program, the capitation grant program, the Metro Mass Transit program, the free maternal care program, the Maslow program, the LEAP program, and all of these programs from a HIPIC low-income economy. And this is why we are very confident that with the oil resources, we can certainly deliver the free senior secondary school education that Nana Akufo-Addo has promised.
Three election cycles later, Dr. Bawumia has been vice president for almost 8 years, and on policy, he has so much to say, with so much confidence and so much credibility.
I believe that as vice president, the policies I have championed or initiated have impacted or will impact the lives of virtually every Ghanaian. I have, with the full blessings and support of my boss, promised and delivered on many groundbreaking policies that are happening for the first time in our history. These include championing the Ghana Card, Agenda 111, e-pharmacy, Ghana.gov, one constituency, one ambulance, Zongo Development Fund, paperless ports, motor insurance, database, renewal of NHIS on your mobile phone, Ghana Card number as your TIN number, SNID number, NHIS number, zip line, delivery for drones, gold for oil, gold purchase program, and so on, and so on, and so on.
So, that is the modern politician, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. So obvious is Bawumia's formidability that on his birthday, critical civil society voice Franklin Kujo even had this to say about Bawumia. Happy birthday, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. You are gifted. You changed the way politics was run in Ghana. You moved us from spin and propaganda to trading fact-based policies during elections. That was Franklin Kujo. As we have all come to see, Dr. Bawumia is just great, and he has changed our politics, hasn't he?
Mr. Vice President, I covered the NPP presidential primaries in 1998. I covered election 2000. I covered the NDC contest for election 2004, the one between Mills and Kwesi Botwe. I covered election 2004, 2008, 12, 16, 20. I have never seen a presidential candidate, whether in opposition or in government, focusing his campaign to the people about policy initiatives and policies that have been achieved. I also covered the UK election in 2001 for Tony Blair, and I covered also the UK election in 2019. You will find in those places that they were always articulating policy, what can be done, what can be solved. You will find here in all of those historical elections that we were not doing that until Mahamudu Bawumia arrived on the scene. Mr. Vice President, whatever happens in December, you have changed the politics of Ghana and Africa for a long time to come. I have nothing more useful to add except that God bless you.
Thank you, Paul.
God bless you.
Happy birthday to the Vice President, the NPP candidate, the #1 on the ballot, and the first leader of Northern extraction for the new Patriotic Party. Good luck to Dr. Bawumia on 7th December.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the program. This is Good Evening Ghana, and it's always a pleasure to come to you 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. I hope that you enjoyed the documentary. Tonight, we have fabulous information for you. We understand that people said some things about our flyer. The producers have isolated some important comments from the flyer that they would like me to read for our viewers to see. And then we have Mahamudu Bawumia's prescriptions on the solution to Galamsey, which was endorsed by Ms. Nanaba Namoa, a media personality, out of which there's some gossip over there. We'll be sharing that with you, isn't it? It's coming up. John Dramani Mahama introduces digital kinky as he addressed people in Accra, the Greater Accra region. He made an analogy between digitalization and the kinky, the great staple food that we all eat. Actually, I ate kinky this evening, isn't it? We have that story for you. John Dramani Mahama, presidential candidate of the NDC and the digital kinky. That's coming up. Okay. A free SHS. The results, the data from the Ministry of Education and the West African Examinations Council recently released indicated how Ghanaian students who wrote the WASI fared from between 2013, a comparative analysis of between 2013 and 2017, and 2017 and 2024. We'll share that with you. And it's being used by politicians of the MPP to suggest that the performance of Ghanaian young people in Rwasi was much better under the free SHS situation than it was prior to that. Okay, and then we get to Parliament. What's happening in Parliament? Earlier today, at the end of a healthy debate, something that looked very scholarly, the Speaker, Alban Sumano Kingsford Bagbin, declined his authority to rule on the matter. What is the matter? The matter is that the Speaker is being invited to declare vacant at least 4 seats in Parliament, 3 of them held now by MPP people and 1 of them held by an NDC. This is coming up upon the argument of former Minority Leader Idrisu Haruna, Member of Parliament for Tamale South, who during his launch of his campaign last weekend told the NDC faithful in Tamale South before a very, very large audience that on Tuesday when Parliament resumes, NPP will be without two of their people and NDC will be without one of their people. His analysis is based on a constitutional provision which suggests that, or which directs, I should say, that if a person is an independent candidate, if a member of Parliament comes to Parliament as an independent candidate and then chooses to align himself with another party or physically join that party as a member of that party, he ought to vacate his seat, and vice versa. If somebody is elected as a member of the party and becomes an independent candidate, etc., etc. We'll be getting into the details of that to explain to you what has happened. And then after that, after Parliament, we'll take a break. When we come back, then we'll do our main story. Our main story today is the mathematical calculation of NDC and MPP's fortunes in the elections set for December 7th. We're going to look at historical data, 2012, 2008, 2016, and 2020. NDC won in 2008 and 2012. Which regions did they win to clinch that victory? By what margins did they win those regions to clinch that victory? What were the percentages that they got? And we're going to use that to show you that if election 2024 results are being declared, these are the things you look out for to determine in your own strong room, in your home or your office or wherever. We're creating a strong room for you. So we all have a strong room. If you see these figures looking this way in this region, you should be suspecting that the NDC or the MPP, depending on the case, whatever the case may be, is likely to win the election or is likely to lose the election one way or the other. Other candidates are worried and they keep telling me that when I come on television, I talk about MPP and NDC as if only they are contesting for the December 2024 election. I always responded to them that I'm a private broadcaster, I'm not GBC, and therefore I do not have an obligation to give fair and equal opportunity to all political parties. In terms of my estimation, the election will be won by either the NDC or the NPP. The other parties have a very unlikely chance of winning. Nonetheless, we'll talk about some of them. We'll talk about Cheddar the other day, don't we? We did. But today is a sad day for Ghana, isn't it? Why is it a sad day? It's beginning to look like for the first time in 20 years, we have not qualified for the African Cup of Nations. Do we still have time to give to Coach Otto Addo any time? Otto Addo doesn't seem remorseful in any context. He doesn't think that anything is his fault. He just says that we're going to win, we're going to win, we're going to win. Otto Addo and President Koto Kreku, do they have questions to answer? They were shouting on the Black Stars players the other day. They gave them pep talk the other day. Money is no longer an issue for the Black Stars. And here we are, the Black Stars, after spending so much of our money, causing us to spend more money for the Accra Stadium pitch to be ready, played out a goalless draw with Sudan, goes out to Libya, which was a friendly country to Ghana before. In the days of Colonel Gaddafi, Libya and Ghana were friends. But the Libyan audience in the stadium, the supporters, were cheering on the Sudanese. Well, maybe they are all Arabs, that works. But nonetheless, the Sudanese came up not just with another draw, which would have been still a disaster for Ghana if we had drawn the game. Not that the Sudanese came in and beat us 1-0. No, not that. Not that they drew or they beat us 1-0. They actually beat the Black Stars by a convincing 2-0 victory out there in Libyan capital. I believe it was Tripoli. Let's go over to the touch screen now. Andy is here with us, and Andy will tell us. Andy, what happened?
Sudan exploited our weakness. So we were playing a defensive high line. So Sudan just learned from what we did.
Oh, so I didn't watch the game. So was it a long balls beating our last line?
The two goals were very similar. The first goal was a free kick from Ghana, an in-swinger.
Our free kick?
Yes. And then it got caught in the middle before getting into the post. And we were trying to get the ball. They took the ball, one pass, went to the striker, he headed it down, and then it was two defenders against one that Sudanese striker, and he managed to score the goal, you understand? And the second goal
from within the box?
It was very funny. It was very funny. So the first defender had to clear the ball. He dribbled the goalkeeper, cleared the ball. The first defender had to clear the ball, but he didn't clear it well. And then he came back to come in. It was very comical. With the second goal, the same thing also happened. One big ball, because it was a defensive high line. One big ball to the main striker, who was a big man, Abdul Rahman, very big man.
6'2"?
6'2", very big man. Headed it down, they passed it to another guy. Second goal with Salisu. So
both goals came in the second half, because I watched the first half.
62nd and the 65th minutes. So 3 minutes apart. And we're even lucky, in the 17th minutes, there was another break, and then the player just missed the ball. That's the Abdul Rahman guy. So we would have been 3-0 down if not for...
Are we out of the African Cup of Nations?
Mathematically, yes.
What are the chances?
Yes, so before we come here, let's go to Yes, the table. So right now we have 2 points out of 4 games. Sudan that's a whooping 8 points out of 4 games. Angola has 12 points.
Angola has 12.
12 points. They have won all the games.
And Sudan has what? 8. And we have what?
We have only 2.
Sudan has 8 points,
Yeah.
and we have 2.
Yeah.
And only 2 are going through.
Even if we win the last 2 matches, Sudan has to lose all the matches convincingly. And then it doesn't.
So we're on
matter.
2. We win and they lose.
Yeah.
It gives us 3. That's 5.
5.
We win and they lose again. It gives us 8.
Yeah, but the goal difference, because you have considered more.
We consider 2 here, and then what else?
You have considered 2 here. One against that is Angola. You remember Angola? Angola came to beat us.
What are the games left?
So we are going to Angola the next game in Luanda.
Oh, that's not good.
That's very difficult.
So Angola win that one, they are through.
They're already through. 12 points.
Oh, they're already through.
Yeah.
Well, then we can talk to them if they're through.
And then our last game is here against Niger. I think
That we will win.
Yeah. But they should.
But
have
what
won.
about Sudan? What are the games?
So Sudan, after here, they are going to face Niger.
Oh, they finished with Angola.
Yes, they are finished with Angola.
They are playing Niger at home.
Yeah, Niger at home.
Oh, then it's not good for us.
So yeah, so
Sudan must just draw another game.
just a draw and then they are good to go. They are good to go.
So should Otto Addo be sacked?
I think for the past 3 years, we have appointed 3 coaches, including he you know, this is his second time, including he, Chris Houghton, and also Milovan Rajevac. And I don't know, we give them 3 or 4 matches. He has at least survived 8 matches. So we should just give him time. He's building the project. It's like the Chelsea project.
Yeah, but he couldn't
Just
make
give
it
him
for the
time.
African Cup of Nations. You
I know.
can't make it for tournament. You're out.
I know.
That's,
It's the first
is that
time
not in their
since-
contract?
Yeah.
What about Keto Kriku? Should he resign?
He has won another second term, so
Yeah,
there's
he
no
has
way.
what, 4 more years
Yeah,
left.
there's no way he's going to resign. There's no way he's going to resign.
But if they don't qualify us to the World Cup, that's a disaster.
He should.
Do we have a World Cup group already?
Yes.
Who are in there?
So we have that's Comoros again. Comoros is on top of that. group.
Comoros beat Tunisia this weekend. They're a very good side.
Yeah. So that we will play that one next year in March. So 9 points. Mali is also in that group. So it's a very, very tough group. Mali has only 3 points. So it's Comoros and also Ghana, 9 points. We have to find.
And how many people are qualifying to the World Cup?
Only one from each.
Only one.
Yeah.
And Comoros are on top with us.
Yeah, 9 points. 9 groups. All the 9 will qualify. All the first 9 will qualify to the World Cup. So.
And we are ahead of Mali. You
Yes.
said one person is qualified.
Only one person.
And we're on the same points with Comoros.
Yeah.
Have we played them?
We played and then they beat us 1-0 away.
So
they
they're
will come.
coming
They
to
will come to
Ghana.
they will come to Accra. So they have to. So
And
I
we
think
played Mali away.
yes, when we beat them,
So
they
they're
will also
coming
come
here.
to
The rest are okay.
Yeah, quite okay.
Wow.
But let's really give this man his flowers. You understand? People were not. I think 2 years ago, people didn't really like his appointment. No, he came here before Milovan Rajevac came back in 2021, and Ghanaians didn't really like his second stint with the Black Stars. 2019 took us to the AFCON, and then we were booted out in the last 16 against Tunisia, and we were calling for his head. But he has gone to Sudan, galvanized this team. We don't even know any of their players. They play in the local league. Al Hilal, Omdurman, Amarek, you know, all these little things in Sudan. And he has galvanized them. They are top of their World Cup group. Senegal is in that group. Shockingly, Senegal is in that group, and they are top of their World Cup group.
He said something in his book, leaders don't yell.
Yeah.
Maybe he's showing us that
So,
now.
so in the game against Ghana in Accra, he did one very simple thing. So just zonal mark them. No, don't man mark the players. And then he got a point. And then the game today, he just opened up. He knew Ghana would set up a high line defensively. So just boot the ball. You have a tall striker, you have good wingers, and that's it. Stop the midfield, the transitions. So they were just pressing us.
So Mohamed Kudus played
He played.
and nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Okay. Anything else?
We're talking about the number 10. You know, there was this buzz around the whole number 10 jersey given to Kudus, and then, you know, former players like Kujo Samoa. You know, there were these rumors that Kujo Samoa,
The fetish around number 10
vacated
jersey.
the number 10 because of, you know, some
And
spiritual.
really like it. I know about that. I've been in.
Yeah, so
meetings
there
where
was,
that has
there
been
was there was this one that was trending this week, and then it was so let's talk about the group. So Sudan is first in that World Cup group. Senegal is second, and then DR Congo, Togo, South Sudan, and Mauritania. So you can see that he's really doing a good job for Sudan, a country like Sudan.
10 points.
10 points. So yes, he has been training for the week.
Ismail Ado? What's the problem?
So remember in 2000, Mark Dosena, he was our a coach back then. So we had a game against Sierra Leone, a prep before the AFCON in 2000. And then he picked an 18-man squad, and he wanted to give the number 10 to Ishmael Ado. And Ishmael Ado said he was not going to take the number 10. Together with
Giuseppe Dosena.
Yes,
the Italian guy.
Yes, and then his teammates at Accra Hartlepool at that time, that's Jacob Neti, told him to soak the jersey in what that is lime. It's not lime water, saline water. So water plus salt, and then he did that, and he played a very good game. So we were saying that the jersey is very, very huge. Big players have come to wear the jersey. So Kudus might find it very difficult. The pressure might be too much for him. And he was really telling the first game he missed the meal.
But they said that there's a juju around the thing, and that
Kujo Sama's own was.
If you don't have the juju,
yes,
you can't wear a Abedi Pele's jersey, and Abedi Pele's jersey belongs to the day Ayew.
Kujo Sama's own was very strange.
So Jordan Ayew wants the number 10. Has he asked for it?
No.
I see. No. And that's why we're losing games.
Ghanaians, and I feel like
they couldn't have a bad day again today.
He didn't really have a bad game, but the midfield, Sudan just did a really good job by closing the midfield. They had
was Jordan on the field?
No. He came in the second half
to replace Kudus.
No. To replace Inaki Williams. Yeah.
And he couldn't.
Nothing. Sudan were the best team overall.
I see.
They were the best team overall, and I think better luck next time. Let's hope and see if we can qualify. But if we don't qualify, the first time since 2004.
Let's see what supporters are saying about whether Otto Addo should stay or not. They were asking Andy. Okay, all right. I'll come back to football when you send me the text messages. Let's get onto our flyer now and see where we are. Dr. H.S. Sekanko is also in the studio tonight. We're going to show you a little bit about the American election. Many people watch the American election analysis and they don't understand it. What is electoral college? Why are they saying that popular votes might be better than popular votes? You can win the popular votes, but you don't win the electoral college vote, etc., etc. Tonight, once you watch Good Evening Ghana, you're going to decode the American election. Anywhere you go, you completely understand it. And when results are coming in, watching on your phone or on social media, you will really be able to understand it. Because we didn't also understand it. We have learned how to understand it, and we're going to share with you tonight. Okay, so we put up this flyer earlier today that says that tonight we mount the touch screen to show you which regions must NPP or NDC win to secure a first-round victory, based on historical data from 2012, 16, and 20. We'll also be explaining in full the U.S. elections and how the votes are counted. Black Stars may have already failed to qualify for AFCON. Can Otto Addo and President Okreku take us to the World Cup? Full analysis. This was our flyer, all of it coming up tonight. Let's see what people are saying about it. Okay, so Don Keynes said that would be happy if you can enlighten us on the NDC becoming the majority in Parliament, and if it's possible, they can become the majority in Parliament. Yes, Don Keynes, I'll be talking about that. That's also the matter in Parliament. It's coming up in the first segment of our show. So just stay tuned. In the next 5 or 10 minutes, you'll be hearing that. Thank you, Don Keynes. Haruna Bohamda Abdul Nasser says that, I guess you are not the one at the back on the bike without crash helmet. I'm the one, sorry. I didn't have crash helmet that day, but yes, I'm the one. Okay, Justice Nana Odame says that we'll be watching on Facebook Live, still waiting when you will be on multi-TV. We are very much working on that. Justice Dame is going to come. Cherubim Spio Busu says that if you can kindly leave the Black Stars out of tonight's Good Evening Ghana, it will be great. Delve directly into politics with your allocated time. Okay, yes, we're doing that. But you have an Arsenal logo, so I'm sure you like football. Evans Lou says that, good evening, Paul. We need great and football minds to help develop our football teams, not what Okreku and Randy Abe are doing as the national teams. God bless our homeland Ghana and make us proud. Ashaman is voting for change come December 7th. Ashaman homeboy King SL is winning the seat for MPP, inshallah. Hey, can MPP win Ashaman this time? It looks like it's interesting. I saw a video where Adongo in Bogatanga had been chased out of a TV3 political event, and he unfortunately left his sandals. And the people picked up the sandals and they were celebrating with it. I saw you the video. I was so taken aback. It's very funny. So TV3 have this thing they are doing. You've been following it, and people know that TV3 sometimes their political broadcasts against the government, which is okay. So it's fine. But they went to this place and they were doing their broadcast. And Adongo was overpowered apparently by the MPP counterpart and some of his supporters who were sort of drowning out Adongo's comments, and he got upset and he decided to leave. But in the process of leaving, I think he left his sandals or something like that. So they picked up his footwear, and then there was his fly. I don't want to show the video. Adongo is a good friend of mine. He's a very important member of parliament. But this is what happened in Bolgatanga. This election is going to be very, very interesting. Now we are hearing that Ashaman is also boiling. This is at the traditional NDC place. Is that also boiling? Are there some MPP places also boiling, looking like they're going to change? Cynthia Morrison is threatening to run for independent candidates in the Swedru seat. Is she going to frustrate the MPP from getting that seat? How is that going to look in Central Region? Stay tuned to this show. We are coming back on the touch screen after the break, and we'll give you all the analysis, the figures about how MPP must do to win a first round and how NDC must do to win a first round. Where are we getting the analysis from? We're just looking at the historical data. We'll come to that, so don't go anywhere. We'll have that. Okay, so that's it for our flyer comments. Thank you very much, everyone who said something about our flyer. Those of you whose messages we didn't read, forgive us. Next time we'll read yours, isn't it? Okay, now there is the Galamsey issue. My good friend Anaba Namwa got herself roasted by NDC people, and that's what we must stop in this country. When somebody indicates his or her opinion about political matters, I mean, if the person is not a frontline political person like some of us, like me, I'm a frontline political news reporter. You can say anything you want to say about me. It's okay. I understand that it's fair game. It's part of my work. But you see, when musicians or artists or somebody says something about what they see in politics, and immediately we think that then they've given money. So as soon as whilst we're talking about Anama, there also came Bulldog, the other guy, Bulldog. Bulldog said that there's no reason why anybody should vote for any other candidate other than John Dramani Mahama. Nobody should attack him for that. That is his view of the matter. Bulldog is not a frontline politician. Nanaba is not a frontline politician. I am a frontline politician. You can say that about me. I mean, other journalists who are doing frontline political journalism, you can say that about us. But when somebody is just a newsreader or current affairs person, socialite who is just concerned about the country and says that I like what this one said, hey, then especially when she's a woman, then they have to say she's Ashao. I mean, that thing, it irks me so much. What is that? A woman talks something, is Ashao. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's hear what Muhammadu Bawumia said about Galamsey. This is what he said.
We are trying to always chase people, but we are not trying to prevent it happening in the first place. So one needs to look at the whole regime of small-scale mining and sanitize that regime, regularize the regime, make sure that the Geological Survey, the authority of Ghana, number one, does the mapping for where all the gold reserves are. At the moment, people are just doing trial and error, destroying our environment. There is no data backing where they go. They just go and dig, they don't find, they go to the next place and start digging, they don't find, they go to the next place. But I want us to set up community mining schemes with certainty from the Geological Survey Department that here you have gold. We are trying to always chase people, but we are not trying to prevent it happening in the first place. So one needs to look at the whole regime of small-scale mining and sanitize that regime, regularize the regime, make sure that the Geological Survey, the authority of Ghana, number one, does the mapping for where all the gold reserves are. At the moment, people are just doing trial and error, destroying our environment. There is no data backing where they go. They just go and dig, they don't find, they go to the next place and start digging, they don't find, they go to the next place. But I want us to set up community mining schemes with certainty from the Geological Survey Department that here you have gold.
Let's break down what Dr. Bawumia said. Sorry, they are rebooting my screen. It's going to come up very soon. Let's break down what Dr. Bawumia said, okay? So the mining regime has one level called prospecting. Prospecting means that I go to the Minerals Commission and I say I want to prospect for minerals. And if I find the minerals, I come back and report to the Minerals Commission and I'm told how to go about it. Now, this prospecting permits me to take equipment into forest areas, whichever area, and then start digging. The allegation is that it is this prospecting, the gaps around the prospecting, the loophole around the prospecting, the lack of tight legal regime around the prospecting license is what has occasioned this Galamsey business. Mahamudu Bawumia is saying that take out prospecting. No, we are no longer going to do prospecting. The Geological Institute of Ghana must itself find money and do the prospecting and identify gold in places so that when you come to apply, you're applying for the gold at Kwamo. So if you are given license to go and mine the gold at Kwamo, then when there's Galamsey occurring in Kwamo, they know that it's Adomotri and Akunta Mining who are in Kwamo, and it is their fault why the water at Kwamo is getting bad. So we know who to identify. If you continue doing this prospecting license, where you come and license me, that I should go and prospect for gold in Tikrum or Fumesa, and I go there and I'm prospecting, I start prospecting from Tikrum, then I cross into Fumesa, then I'm in Jachi. And then you come and tell me that it is Galamsey. I'll say, oh no, I'm not the one. It is Akunta Mining who are doing the Jachi one. It's not me. Or it's not my voice. It's this guy's voice. It creates a certain loophole, a certain wide area, a gray area where you cannot actually hold responsibility onto certain people. So what he's saying is that let's cut out prospecting. Let geological do the prospecting. The reason why we allow them to do the prospecting, it costs a bit of money. So they are going to spend their own money, and we will know that there's gold here, and they give government percentage and royalties and all of that. So it was kind of good to make government sit pretty and let people spend their money. But he's saying that government should spend that money. And his point is that we are always trying to change people instead of changing the circumstance. That's really what he's saying. Play Mahamudu Bawumia again, and then we can get the facts right. Play it again, and we come to the rest of the story.
We are trying to always chase people, but we are not trying to prevent it happening in the first place. So one needs to look at the whole regime of small-scale mining and sanitize that regime, regularize the regime, make sure that the Geological Survey, the authority of Ghana, number one, does the mapping for where all the gold reserves are. At the moment, people are just doing trial and error, destroying our environment. There is no data backing where they go. They just go and dig, they don't find, they go to the next place and start digging, they don't find, they go to the next place. But I want us to set up community mining schemes with certainty from the Geological Survey Department that here you have gold.
So, upon this explanation, media covered it. And then Lanaba Namoa here says that I just listened to Dr. Bawumia's remarks on Galamsey. Glad he's finally commented on the menace. His solution is the most practical one I've heard so far. I hope he walks the talk if he gets the mandate. And what's wrong with this? What is so wrong with this? She's not saying vote for Bawumia. She's not saying that. She's just saying that I've heard his solution. I think it's one of the best. If you have a solution, you can tell her that, no. This solution is useless. Listen to what he's saying. It's not workable. It's not practical. How can surveyors do that? Has he checked the amount of money? You can say all that. And then present your solution as well to the general public. But if he says that his solution is the most practical one I've heard, and he says, I hope he walks the talk if he gets the mandate. This looks like a neutral talking. He's not saying that vote for Bawumia. He's not saying that when he gets the mandate. He says if. The difference in when and if is that when means that I am certain that you'll get it. If means that I don't know whether you get it. So if she says, if he gets the mandate, come and see the way the people were fighting her. Do you have some of it? Yeah, there's some of it. This one, Abner Friye tells her that, dear Nanaba, I know you've got all the answers when it comes to Bawumia's practical solutions, but have you tried applying them to your own love life? I mean, Abner Friye, you should be ashamed of yourself. Abner, you're a woman. You are a woman. You should be ashamed of yourself. Abner Friye, you are a woman. A woman who has managed to rise to a certain occasion and a certain level. Is indicating her views, because she's public, she has millions of followers. She's indicating her views about the menace that we are all talking about, that this politician has said something that I think makes sense. She's not saying that that's the only solution. She's not comparing the politician's solution to another politician because another politician hasn't said anything. The another one hasn't said anything. And another one too hasn't said anything. The other one too hasn't said anything. It's only one person who has said something. And he said that this thing that Dr. Bawumia has said, for me, it looks like it makes sense. You two bring your solution, then you tell her that she should apply the Galamsey solution, which is to say that there's no prospecting to her love life. Really? She should apply it to her love life. Galamsey prospecting and love life. You can say that because you just want to say something. Because you think that she said something positive about Dr. Bawumia, so you are angry. This is what worries me. This is not how to fight politics. If somebody says something, you have to bring your something. And so that we compare the two somethings and make a determination of where we are. This issue about as soon as somebody who is neutral, even Father Campbell, they've been insulting him. Even Father Campbell. That he's going to say that Akufo-Addo is good or Bawumia is bad. Hey! I think this is very unfair. And everybody, and I saw Franklin Kujo post something about it that I didn't quite like. I think that once I've read what she said, I've not seen everything she said. She said that if she gets the nod. But what Dr. Bawumia said, it requires ventilation. It requires a debate. Is it doable? Is it workable? Is it possible? That's what young people should be looking at. The other candidate hasn't said anything about it. He said zero. Today he's had opportunity to speak. Yesterday he spoke. Zero about Galamsey. Okay, you can say that he is not the government. He's opposition. The responsibilities for government. Fair enough. That's understandable. So the government vice president has offered his prognosis solution to the matter. That is it. And then you come and say that, hey, she's this, she's that. Abene-Free, shame on you. Who else said something about it? We have here, we've been there before. Always misleading the populace with your selfish interest. Not again this time. Voting for the NDC candidate is complete waste of time. Kujo Ponkroma, your next MP will be working for you. I'm not sure why Ofuasia is mixed with this one, but this T4P says that Nanaba is doing selfish interest. What is selfish about this? Papa J Jr. says that, you need money to repair the machines because they are getting old, so you have to go this way. Not surprised at all. Good job. What machines? Oh, goodness. Okay, the Green Blood, that's his name. He says, cash out for the weekend. And why don't they put their names there and they call themselves Green Blood? And Obori Ayat says that you see that you are no longer relevant in Ghana after the younger generations have realized how fake you are, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand it. Bawumia has said something. The person says that what Bawumia says, if he can do it. She says, I hope you walk the talk. That's what she said. I don't like women being bastardized in this kind of way at all. It's symptomatic of a backward society when we don't understand the role of women, when we don't respect women, and when we don't allow women to come into decision making, and we have to cover women into the back. There's a reason why God placed women where he placed them. And any modern society must recognize that. Young people, let's not be like that. Let's not do that. It shows that our society is backward. When we are unable to contain women in leadership, it shows that our society is backward. When a woman says something that is wrong, it is wrong. It's not that because she's a woman, you can't say it is wrong. It is wrong. But what this lady said, there's absolutely nothing wrong about it. He said somebody has had a solution. You people, you are sitting there. Omani Boama, I always mention them. Sami Jemfi, Joyce Bauer. Have you designed a solution for John Mahama in the Galamsey? Have you designed it? Have you looked at the Galamsey and told him that, Mr. President, this is the way you need to do it? Have you done that? You haven't done that. Some people have sat in a room and put a solution together, shared it with their candidate. The candidate likes it. The candidate talks about it. Somebody says that this is a solution, and then you say, hey, you should go and look at her love life. Are you interested in her love life? Do you want to be a partner, a partaker in her love life? Is that the reason why you are saying the things you are saying about her? I think that's very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. Okay, let's move on. These are the small stories we do before we get on a touch screen with the big issues of mathematical calculation. Our next story will be Parliament. Before then, though, my friend and brother, John Dramani Maham, has been talking about kinky. I am a brutal kinky eater. Now, let me do the kinky before I come to the WASI results and the analysis. I'll do the free SHS in a minute. I'm a brutal kinky eater, you know. So, when President Mahama talked about the kinky, I was quite excited about the story. Do you have the kinky story? Yeah, they do. Okay. Should we be reading something first or should we be watching the video first? We should be reading something first. I think, yes, great. That's where it is. So this is a flyer that pop out, XYZ online, they say. I don't know whether President Mahama really said that. The title says, John Mahama attacks gangs in Accra. He wasn't really attacking gangs. He was talking to them. He says, as for you gangs, you only like kinky, fish, and pepper. That is the most important thing for you. And Bawumia is talking about digitalization. You can't have digital kinky. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what he said. This is the video of what has been reported as something John Dramani Mahama said. Have a look.
No, I can digital labor for coming in. It was digitalization over here. There's a see like a drum or he war. When you digital kinky, when you're coming, dated, Kesito, Pakwesito, Kekina, no defense, when you digital kinky. No track, I can digital labor for any coming in. The world digitalization over here. There's a see like a drum or he war. When you digital kinky, when you're coming, dated, Kesito, Pakwesito, Kekina, no defense.
What should I say about this? I don't know what to say. President Mahama, you see, I think that he was joking. I really believe that he was joking. But it's 2 months to election. It's a close election. People want to hear what the candidate has for them. I think that his team should not have positioned him in a manner to be joking, because everything he says will be recorded, it's on people's phones, it's on camera, and people are going to look at it and believe that that is his policy line. He didn't preface his joke by saying that this is a joke, take it out. But digitalization is what the opposition to him, that's Bawumia, campaigning on. The opposition to John Mahama is Bawumia. Bawumia is campaigning on digitalization, that digitalization is going to change Ghanaian lives. It has started changing Ghanaian people's lives, and it's going to change Ghanaian lives. That's his mantra. That is one of his key points of his campaign. President Mahama is doing the rebuttal, and in the rebuttal, he's talking to a group of young Ghanaian people, and he's telling them that what you want is kinky, it's not digitalization. I think that's not good. I really think that's not good. On a very, very serious note, I believe it was a joke, but these are not the jokes that are allowed. Digitalization is a policy that is necessary for the country. It doesn't have to be Dr. Bawumia doing it. Any political party that wins power must be interested in digitalization for the future of Ghanaian people. If Dr. Bawumia is driving the digitalization agenda, he may not be the best person to do it. NDC must tell us that they can drive the digitalization agenda better than what John Mahama, than what Dr. Bawumia is doing. This is what I've been fighting for. Let's have an election cycle where both parties are thinking really hard and giving Ghanaians solutions that you don't even know which one to choose, because you have best and best. You don't have bad and good, you have best and best. And then you pick out of it. That's the only way that a developing country can develop. But if you have one of the groups, a huge part of it, the NDC, and this is the kind of campaign that is coming out of the presidential candidate of the NDC, a very decent gentleman who has been president of Ghana before, I do not find this laughable. I do not find this funny. How can this be funny? The president of Ghana, former president of Ghana, campaigning to be a president in 2024, 24 years after the turn of the 21st century, is talking about comparing digitalization to eating kinky, which is my favorite food. And you say that the kinky eating, because Ghana people eat kinky, they do not need digitalization. It's really, really, really bad. That's all I can say. It's horrendous for a presidential candidate 2 months to election asking people to elect me to joke with them and say that it is kinky that you want. Kinky cannot be digitalized. So forget about the digitalization he's talking about. Let's eat our kinky, and you laugh it off and you get away with it. That's the campaign that you do to young people in 2024, 24 years after the turn of the 21st century. Anybody who was around that presidential candidate, who is part of the workings of that presidential candidate, has done Ghana a disservice. Any individual who is around President Mahama, who was aware about this and who was there and has since not raised an issue about it, has done Ghana a disservice. Nature will query you about it. that if you have a position to influence leadership for children who are not yet born, for children who are wallowing in poverty, we are looking for a leader who can turn around the Ghanaian resources and make sure that somebody has done free SHS. Me too, I'll come and do something else for the young Ghanaian people so that at least their education and housing is guaranteed. Akufo-Addo has guaranteed education, I will guarantee their housing. We don't hear that kind of mantra coming out of the opposition that we are going to guarantee your housing. Akufo-Addo has done education, we'll do your transport. Akufo-Addo has done education, we'll do your water. We are not hearing things like that, and what we are hearing from the opposition, who should be giving hope to the citizens, telling us that Kenke cannot be digitalized, and therefore digitalization is not important. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what to say about this, because you are talking about important people, so you always have to be careful the words that you use. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know. All I can say is that those people who are doing these things, they should remember that nature is going to judge them, because they are doing a disservice to Ghana. They are doing a disservice to Ghana. Anyway, let's get to see what happened in Parliament, and then we can take our break and then get back onto the big issue of election analysis, who is going to win which region, etc., etc. They are still showing me something. Oh, it's still the Nanaba. No, free SHS is gone. Let's look at what's happening in Parliament. So what's the story in Parliament? We start with Haruna Idrisu and a video where this weekend, Idrisu Haruna has brought serious problem, to the parliamentary conversations in Ghana. We'll just give you an explanation of what's happening, and then we take a break. We come back, we hit the studio. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot to learn from each other tonight. This is Idrisu Haruna, former Minority Leader of Parliament and the Member of Parliament for Tamale South.
I am very certain that Parliament and Ghana will go through a major constitutional test, and that constitutional test is that the NDC minority must become the majority from Wednesday next week. I assume, and this must happen if there is constitutional and legal propriety in Ghana, because any nuanced interpretation of Article 97 provides that if a member of Parliament on a political party ticket like MPP defects and fails to be independent, that MP ceases to be member of Parliament. And if an independent member of Parliament, by virtue of the provision of Article 97, subclause G, an independent joins a political party, that independent loses constitutional recognition and does not belong to Parliament. And even if an NDC candidate, MP, defects to become an independent, he ceases to be a member of Parliament. Therefore, we will invoke the Speaker's proper and true interpretation of Article 97 by our standing orders, which must mean that 3 MPP MPs no qualify to be members of Parliament, and 1 NDC MP does not also qualify to be member of Parliament. Therefore, the Speaker will be called upon on Tuesday to declare 4 parliamentary seats vacant and declare them as lacking constitutional recognition.
Now, let me give you the backstory behind what Haruna Idrisu is saying. So, the Electoral Commission has now completed the filing of nominations for presidential and parliamentary candidates, isn't it? Okay, so that completed, the state of affairs is reported as follows. The Member of Parliament for Formena, who is the second Deputy Speaker, who is Member of Parliament because he came in as an independent candidate following his defeat in the MPP primaries that occurred towards the 2020 election, but he, however, won the seat as an independent candidate, comes to Parliament and sits with the MPP to give the MPP 138, something that gives them a majority, and he's been given the second Deputy Speaker. Now, he has now filed as the MPP candidate for Formena because the MPP have now gone to correct the backroom conversations and the quarrels and settled it in his favor. So he's now the Member of Parliament. So he has since filed at the Electoral Commission to be MPP member. Okay. There are 2 other MPP members. One of them is Suedru, Cynthia Morrison, the former Minister for Gender, and then the other one is Suhum, both of whom are angry people. They are very upset that they had been defeated in the primaries as incumbent MPP MPs. On the basis of their resistance and their anger, they have picked up parliamentary forms to file as independent candidates. So 2 MPP former MPs are filing as independent candidates in Suhum and in Suedru. Idrisu Haruna is asking the Speaker, and then there is another one. There is an NDC candidate in Namenfi, who is NDC parliamentary candidate, parliamentary member of parliament right now, lost the primaries, unhappy with it, very angry, picks up forms to file as an independent candidate. So Idris Haruna is making the point that the two NPP people who are angry and therefore filing as independent, the former MP who is happy and has rejoined the MPP, and the NDC MP who is filing as independent candidate, all of them, if you do a true and proper reading of Article 97 of the Republican Constitution, you will come to the conclusion that all these four people should vacate Parliament right now. He's making the further analysis that if this were to happen and that the Speaker ought to make this happen, then you will have a situation where from now till the end of the election, the NDC will have the majority in Parliament and the MPP will have the minority, because MPP leads NDC by 1. If the MPP is losing 3 and the NDC is losing 1, then you will have a situation where the NDC will now lead the MPP by 2. This is what Idris Haruna is looking for. Let's see his reasons firmed up in Article 97 of the 1992 Constitution. 97(1) says, a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent candidate. Seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent candidate. Now, this is the way. Let's read it again. We're going to the constitutional law class now, but let's do it. A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament. G, if he leaves, there are other things, but they're irrelevant to the conversation. If he leaves the party of which he was a member. Oh, are you giving me more? Let's stay with this one. If he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of the election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member, is the remain that is creating the problem. So Alexander Fenyo-Markin, the majority leader, has already filed a writ at the Supreme Court. But before he did that, and I'll tell you what is in the writ, and I'll tell you the argument that he's making so that we can all look at it. Before he filed the writ, he spoke in Parliament this morning, indicating that he was preparing to file a writ to the Supreme Court. At the end of the day, this evening, the Speaker opened a debate about it. And after that, the Speaker gave a conclusion, which I'll share with you. I've already said it here. Speaker said that he has declined to give the ruling today. He's waiting for some 2-3 days, and then he's also waiting for the writ that Afenyo-Markin has filed at the Supreme Court. And after that, he will make a determination. But this is what Afenyo-Markin said. I'll come back and show you the other angle to Idris Haruna's argument. Idris Haruna's argument seems to make a lot of sense. So he's saying that this is clear, that if the person, a member of Parliament, automatically vacates his seat. Okay, now 5 is important. Whenever a vacancy occurs, let's go to 5 then. Let's go to 5. Whenever a vacancy occurs in Parliament, the clerk to Parliament shall notify the Electoral Commission in writing within 7 days after the vacancy occurred, and a by-election shall be held within 30 days. Notwithstanding clause 5 of this article, a by-election shall not be held within 3 months before the holding of a general election. So that even if clause 5 were to arise, clause 6 cannot take effect because we are 3 months to the election. So even if the Speaker were to determine that 10 seats are vacant, then if the 10 seats are vacant, in those vacant situations, there will be no election. So if a candidate, a member of Parliament dies, usually in the case of dying, we are not going to have any other election, or he's dismissed from his party. We're not going to have any other election. So keep that at the back of your mind. Let's watch Afenyo-Markin. We'll come back to interpretation. We'll do it quickly, take a break, and come and do the hardcore stuff. So here's Alexander Afenyo-Markin, Majority Leader in Parliament.
When the Adjustable case arose, Mr. Speaker said declaring seats vacant should not be matters to be taken lightly. It involves critical thinking, it involves processes, and involves the courts as well. Of course, people have been referring to Speaker Okwe's ruling and in the Formina matters and all that, but it is what it is. I mean, if Speaker Okwe made a ruling so motu on a matter, that ruling was not a court pronouncement, but that's a Speaker's ruling. I am of the view that the matter was not tested at the time in the courts. This is the first time that this matter has been tested. So I would not want to go into the Speaker Okoye ruling. I would want to rely on the steps I've taken and pray that the Supreme Court gives us a clear pathway.
So what's Alexander Afenyo-Markin saying? Alexander Afenyo-Markin is inviting the Supreme Court to go and look at the intention of the framers of the Constitution when they wrote this article. He's suggesting that this article is not written for the purpose of the problem that we have today. That this article is intended to cure a certain mischief. That's Idris Haruna and Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Idris Haruna and Alexander Afenyo-Markin, okay. Afenyo-Markin is saying in his writ that the provisions of this Constitution is intended to cure a certain mischief, a certain defect, which is not the situation right now. The situation right now is that members of parliament members of parliament. Formina came in as independent. Now he says he's going to MPP. So he's caught by a G. If a member leaves the party on which he was a member at the time of the election to parliament. So at the time of election to parliament, Formina was an independent candidate, okay? He came as an independent candidate. That's how he won. At the time of winning the election, Cynthia Morrison was New Patriotic Party. At the time of winning the election, the member of parliament for Suhum was New Patriotic Party. The lady or the man in Amenfi for the NDC was National Democratic Congress. So if you continue to read G, it says that who was a member at the time of his election to parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in parliament as an independent candidate. So in the case of Cynthia Morrison, because she's now going independent, it says seeks to remain. But if you look at the use of the word remain, it means the framers of the Constitution was thinking about the same parliament. Remain. Because you don't remain in two parliaments. You do one parliament, you remain in one parliament, you get elected for the next parliament. You cannot remain. So the use of the word remain, please bring back G, bring back G. The use of the word remain, seeks to remain in parliament. The remain there to suggest that the framers of the Constitution were not thinking about the next parliament. They were thinking about in that same parliament. And they were also thinking about the thing occurring before the 3 months threshold. Because within 3 months, there will be no by-election. There's no by-election. So that the Afenyo-Markin is saying in his writ that the people who are saying that they have changed from independent to party or party to independent, they intend for it to occur in the next election. And they are not imposing themselves on parliament as moving from NDC to MPP. No, they are going back to the people to tell them that I was MPP, but now I want to be independent. In this same Swedru, Cynthia Morrison is asking, would you vote for me? If they vote for her, that is not the Article 97(1)G that I was talking about, because she's not seeking to remain in parliament as an independent. She's seeking to go back to the people to announce to them that I'm an independent. So this clause is not for them. This is the point Afenyo-Markin is making. In the circumstances, Michael Okoye's ruling will be said to be wrong because the NDC is mentioning Michael Okoye's ruling. What is Michael Okoye's ruling? In 2020, the Formina MP, who was MP for Formina in the chair in parliament, lost the parliamentary contest and then filed as an independent. So by this time in 2020, he had filed as an independent. A motion was brought before the parliament for Mr. Speaker, the learned professor Aaron Michael Okoye. Michael Okoye took a decision and ruled that having left the MPP to join to become an independent candidate, the Formina MP was supposed to vacate his seat, and he announced a vacation of the seat in parliament. But there was no by-election because it was 3 months to go. Deputy Speaker at the time, second Deputy Speaker, Alban Sumanu Kingsford Bagbin, who is Speaker today, held a private opinion that Michael Okoye's decision was wrong. So it is interesting now that it's come back to the fore in Parliament. The NDC have something to gain by getting the Speaker to pronounce these seats vacant, and the people can't come again, and they are no longer counted as members of Parliament. Afenyo-Markin is raising a very interesting point. So going into the Supreme Court, the judges that are philosophically minded, the Aristotle, Plato type of judges, they are going to look at Afenyo-Markin and think that he's right, because they are going to look into, they are going into the minds of the constitutional framers. You need very Platonic judges, philosophical, Aristotelian judges to be able to do that. Otherwise, if you are looking at the matter in simple terms, the simplistic view of Article 97 is that, look, the guy has left from independent to party, from party to independent. The seats should be vacated. Pure and simple. That's it. Mr. Speaker, sack them from the place and let's do our work. You can look at it like that. But we will see what the judges will do. But as I'm saying, if the judge is Platonic Aristotelian, he's more likely to agree with Fenyomaki. If, however, the judge wants to look at the Constitution in simple terms, the Constitution is not just for lawyers, it's for all of us. It's simple, we can understand it. It says vacate means vacate, then we see what will happen. But the Speaker has declined to make a decision this evening, which is what the NDC were looking for. He says that he'll make the decision 2 days from now, isn't it? And by that time, he would have received the writ from the Supreme Court. So we know what to do. At this stage, I think we are done with the preliminary matters. Let's get into the real stuff. What's the time here? Oh, it's way past 10. 25 minutes past 10. We'll get into the real stuff in a minute. Let's go to social media, take our messages, go to the break, and then we come to the stuff. What are people saying?
Thank you. So, back to the sports story. Clifford Chase says, Paul, this is not surprising at all. How do you expect the Black Stars to perform well when your local league is not one of the best in Africa? Mensa says, Uncle Paul, we should use only the local players to play our next match. As for the coach, the least you say about him, the better. Baba Chairman says, until the authorities in Ghana bite the bullet and disband the Ghana's FA and the national football team and reconstitute the team with only local players, we shall never find our feet. Emmanuel Kofi says, until the GFA is dissolved, Ghana Blasters are going nowhere. Now to the Bawumia story. Rahman Ahmed says, the man, Dr. Bawumia, is the political greatest of all time. He deserves to serve the nation with what he had in his head. Citizen Thomas says, the innovative and forward-thinking leader, God will do him great, Dr. Bawumia. Next Nation says, Apostle Paul, Dr. Bawumia has changed the narrative and dynamics of the political terrain of this country. Today, debating must be backed with the data to drum home the essence of one's argument. All this is happening because of Dr. Bawumia. Inshallah, come December 7th, Ghanaians will make the right choice by voting for him massively. Nana Yao says digitalization is a new dimension for the world's economy in the 21st century, and you are asking people whether they will eat digitalization. Hey, Mahama. Now, what do you have for us, Tara?
So, coming from George Ofori Amonfo, Paul, I want to tell all Ghanaians to vote for Dr. Bawumia and NPP. Coming from Hamid Abdul Wakil, I like the mathematics preamble for today's program. That was creative. From Junior Akbar Tamali, Ghanaian football is dying slow. I think we have to wake up to save Ghana football. From Ebenezer Opung Apia, Paul, if NDC becomes a majority in Parliament, what will happen to the Speaker's position in Parliament? And from Adamu Zamzei, it's possible Paul Bawumia has never failed in his political life. As for Ghanaian youth, have a lot of problem when it comes to politics. We still need a lot of education for the youth. Bawumia and you, Paul, has changed me when it comes to political arguments. What do you have for us, Antoinette?
Yes, so still on the Bawumia story, especially concerning his speech, one in town says, Mr. Paul, I personally believe that Haruna Idrisu was indirectly telling the NPP to act because the NDC intend to take such an action, and if there is anything you guys can do, get it done. Otherwise, what would have motivated Haruna Idrisu to have made that comment if that was their intended action instead of Nicodemously returning to Parliament today and implementing his agenda? Haruna Idrisu is simply gaslighting the NDC for an NPP to take action. Remember, if this hadn't happened, would the majority had filed a writ at the Supreme Court? Food for thought. Now, Safi from Bali says, good evening, Mr. Paul. Haruna Idrisu might be right, considering Article 97C of the 1992 Constitution. However, we must balance the constitutional adherence with empathy. Article 97 states that MPs absent for 15 sittings without permission vacate their seat. Yet, haven't MPs been absent beyond 15 sittings without consequences? I wish the NDC would temper justice with mercy. I also plead on Mr. Speaker not to grant the minority request. My greetings to Mr. Kwabena Frimpong. Now, Papa Jemfi on ex-President Mahama's speech, he says, Mr. Mahama has admitted the importance of digitalization, but unfortunately, he cannot be part of its numerous glories, hence he jokes about it. NB Asian says, Hobby Johnson rather says concerning Dr. Bawumia's solution to the Galamsey menace, he says that is actually a very prudent solution to go about the mining in Ghana. Ghanaians must back Dr. Bawumia and his ideas to solve the problems surrounding this whole Galamsey issue. Ebenezer Alota adds, and he says, this is what we call brains at work. This is actually thinking outside the box, both solutions from Dr. Bawumia. Over to you, Paul.
When we come back, we hit the touch screen with our analysis. If you are NDC or your MPP, watch us. We're going to tell you how your party could win, because we'll show you how they won in 2008 and 2012, your NDC. If your MPP, we'll show you how they won in 2016 and 2020, and we will show you that. So you tell your campaign people where to push the campaign. Don't go anywhere. And then we'll be here also on American election. We'll talk about, in America, what does it mean to say that somebody has won electoral votes? How are the American votes counted? It's very important for tonight. We'll be right back.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
To all our believers,
to the Niger Gunners of Global Road,
all you Wartetas of Africa, of Accra,
of Maputo,
of Oimbo,
the legends of legends down Lusaka way. We hear you.
Now hear us. Obrigado. Talo.
Betway, the official global betting partner of Arsenal.
The 8th edition of the prestigious Ghana Energy Awards is here. It is happening live on Friday, 25th October at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Time 6:30 p.m. prompt. Theme: the role of local content in building Ghana's energy sector. Special guest of honor: Osabiri Makwesi Atta II, the Oman Hene Ogwa traditional area. For tickets and sponsorship, call 030-3940-300. Industry partners: media partners, Metro TV, Graphic News Plus, validation by Forbes Mozas Ghana. Ghana Energy Awards, 8 years of redefining excellence.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready poor mattress anymore? Don't some slippers then follow me. It is part of the mattress we did it from there. Yeah? Happiness mattress where the dead for. Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like ash foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
One choice, multiple styles. All big, all unique.
Using Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, brought to you by Koa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana. Formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Koa Plus Mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Koa MT Mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Koa MT Mixture. Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Koa MT Mixture. Choose Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244 726611 or 0591 565 778. This advert is
anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepare your bantama.
Matias.
It's
her smile. The fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Kel 360 toothpaste.
Yes, Kia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasan. Kile kosen. Kel 360 better way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
Hey, you will see feeling to when you Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Gone were the days one had to use his or her savings or break the bank to own a home in Ghana. Tezprom Estates Limited, a leading property development company, is turning people's dreams into reality. The company has introduced a pioneering concept, Build Now Pay Later, offering a unique payment plan that spans 15 years. This innovative approach has made it possible for many Ghanaians to own their dream homes without breaking the bank. At Tezprom Estates Limited, we are dedicated to delivering exceptional quality and customer satisfaction in all aspects of our business. Our commitment is reflected in how we build to suit your preference, which prioritize excellence, integrity, and customer centricity. Our pricing is cost-effective. You can visit our office at the Old Melcom, Achimota, Accra to register at a fee of 300 Ghana cedis or call us for more information. Contact us now.
All be lie.
Thank you, boss. See you next week. Go. Where do my passport? Where is my passport? You man also waba.
What is that about?
And then special.
Give me my passport. You made me pay for express for 24 hours and yet it's not in.
You took like you are telling me this. What's going on? Hello.
This man here has taken my money. That within 24 hours he'll do my passport for me.
Oh, see that's your terms applies to me. He told me last night. He's telling me this week. Process. That's what they do. Yeah. Oh, madam. Please relax. I'll get for you in 24 hours. Hey, Goroma. So you never change? Eh? You get passport for someone within 24 hours. Madam Obwa. See, the normal working hours is 9 to 5. Eh? Not 24 hours. Yeah, I'm fat. You guys have made a very big mistake by trusting these people. Now, through digitalization, passport application has been made so easy. Now, you don't need to stress yourself and join any long queue for your passport. All you have to do is to log on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and begin your application. By buying a passport application voucher online. Simple and easier. And very soon, all you need to get your passport will be your Ghana card. What is it true? Obiza.
It is possible. Sure. Boot number 1 on the ballot.
While you're done for the day, someone is planning to start theirs. At every given second in the dead of night, an uninvited guest could turn all your hard work into a nightmare. But with Response 1's BizGuide monitored alarm, help is already on the way. Our state-of-the-art video verification means the moment your security is breached, we are watching, verifying the threat instantly. Our dedicated response team acts swiftly, ensuring that threats to your livelihood are stopped in their tracks. And with our rent-to-own plan, this unparalleled security is yours with an affordable monthly payment. Protect your business now. Pay as you earn. Join the hundreds of shop owners who trust Response One to protect their businesses. Don't wait for the worst to happen. Act now. Call Response One today or visit our website. Your business deserves the best defense.
You're the answer to my prayers. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know tonight.
Hello, my name is Roland Walker. I'm here at Coastal Park. It's one of the many courts belonging to estate masters, and they are into service plots, property management, and luxury homes. And just in case you want to make that decision to invest into a landed property, estate masters is the right choice to make. If it is from an indenture, a site plan, you want it also barcoded, all is available. You might have heard about Chopoli. It's where we have the next cottage of estate masters. It is not only one of the thriving, but the most inviting landed property sites for you also to invest in. We encourage you, do invest in the next cottage at Chopoli. It is just close to the yet to be demarcated airport. That also will be a valuable property for you to invest in.
Apomode hunsem yemfen diagro enunti nese wonom edebapa nko a Exodus moringa capsules ene Exodus dandelion capsules efi Exodus emusuyanum na ebeboa wapomode emu bia wo benya no betimi aboa nanso se woyi to no a wo betimi anom abom na ebeboa papa se wonom Exodus moringa capsules ne Exodus dandelion capsules eboa mamoja di efusani yie na afei ebusi wo immune system no na akwatia yarewa ahodo menim yie se nipa dodo na nim dia moringa etumi ye na dandelion so yenim enunti ne nkasa bebre enye ma apemfo ana abatan a oma enifo ana abofra onya emfidumi Exodus efu dance die dos.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
Actually, I'm on a line.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download the app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
Fellow countrymen and women, the desperate NPP, realizing that they are losing the 2024 elections, has once again resorted to lies to smear the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The NPP's claim that Mahama was against free SHS and will cancel it when elected is nothing but a barefaced lie calculated to deceive you. John Mahama started the implementation of the progressively free SHS program in 2015 with day students and had a clear plan to expand the program to cover borders, hence cannot be said to be against free SHS. What he has been against is the poor implementation of the program. Contrary to the lies of the NPP, the next NDC Mahama government will improve the implementation of the free SHS program to make it better. We will do this by scrapping the double track system, provide a dedicated source of funding for the program, include private SHS, improve the feeding of our children, and enhance the quality of learning outcomes. Listen to the truth from the horse's own mouth.
Free senior high school education has come to stay. If anybody tells you that I, John Dramani Mahama, son of E.A. Mahama, will abolish free SHS when I come, tell the person he is a bloody liar. What I'm against is the poor implementation of the free SHS, which is creating great inconvenience for the parents, for the students, and for the teachers. And one of the things we'll do when we come back into office, and I know inshallah we're coming back into office, is to complete the 200 community day schools that we began, so that we can bring a quick end to the double track system.
Beware of the NPP's lies. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Welcome back to the show, and we have a lot to do, don't we? Now, we told you that we have the American election coming up, didn't we say so? And we have an interview of somebody who's written a nice book, PSC Otredako has written a nice book, and we'll be talking about it. Okay, let's get onto the touch screen and do some analysis. It's election time, isn't it? Our responsibility is to help you as viewers to create your own strong room. So we are, by this presentation, helping you to create your own strong room. So don't forget, this presentation is to be on social media. You can look at it. When election night comes, these are the things you need to look out for. Okay. So here is the data for all the elections that have been fought in 2008 in the second round of the same election, 2012, 2016, and 2020. So let's see what we glean from these figures. In 2008's first round, Akufo-Addo won and 49.13%. He missed the threshold by about 25,000 to become the president. Professor Mills got 47.92%, and the difference among the two candidates was 102,000 votes. Akufo-Addo was leading Prof. Mills by 102,000 votes. Going into the second round, Professor Mills beat Akufo-Addo, turning it over into a 40,000 gain. Now, Professor Mills eventually won the election by 50.23. That figure is very instructive. Keep that in mind. We are picking the analysis from 2008. Forget about 92, 96, 2000, and 2004. That's quite old. And the trends of today do not reflect that one. But the trend since 2008 is still quite similar, so we can deal with it. Now, keep an eye on this one. Professor Mills won. This is the first election that NDC won after Rawlings. And Professor Mills won it in a second round by obtaining 50.23% of the votes. Now, let's come to 2012. 2012 also, John Dramani Mahama won the election for the NDC. Now, this is the second election NDC won after J.J. Rawlings. And again, John Dramani Mahama won it in a first-round victory. Again, his vote count ended at 50.70, I believe. 50 points. That's the biggest number that the NDC have been doing since 2008, since Rawlings, who did 57% twice. Okay. Then comes 2016. In 2016, Akufo-Addo wins the election the first round. We know that the margin was big, almost 1,984,000 was the vote difference between Akufo-Addo and John Mahama. The percentage score for Akufo-Addo was 53.7, is one of the largest in terms of an opposition candidate. Is really the largest. And John Mahama also registered what appeared to be the NDC's lowest vote tally in the Fourth Republic. It was 44%. This is 2016. Then let's look at 2020's elections. If we come to 2020 here on the chart, we will see that the NPP again won the election by a difference of 517,000, something like about half of how much they won 2016 with. And in that election, which Akufo-Addo won first round, which was very, very close, the NDC, MPP won 51.3%. So we've seen that the NDC in its electoral victories, in the biggest victory that they won in 2012, the percentage was 50 points. They didn't cross 50%. Professor Mills, in the biggest victory that he won in the runoff of 2008, was 50 points. On the MPP side, in these 4 elections, the biggest has been 53 and 51. So the MPP seem to be, when they are winning the elections, they seem to gather a lot of momentum to win their elections. When NDC is winning elections, they do win, but it looks like it's always very, very tight in the presidential race. And we said that because we told you before that the MPP's path to presidency is easier than the NDC's path to presidency. The NDC's path to parliamentary victory is easier than the MPP path to parliamentary victory. Why do we say that? The MPP controls the numbers in the hinterland, in the agricultural belt of Ghana, the hinterlands, the eastern region, Ashanti region, heavily controlled by the MPP. Their sizes of their parliamentary seats are far bigger, and it's speculated that Chachu Chikata, who was in charge of doing these things in the 1992 Consultative Assembly, fixed it so that the NDC will have a lot of parliamentary seats. So if you go to Ashanti and Eastern, each constituency is so huge. But you come to the NDC areas, Upper East, Upper West, you see that constituencies are very, very small. Many, many years ago, as a young journalist, I interviewed Josiah Aye. He's dead now. May he rest in peace. He was my lecturer in property law at the Faculty of Law in his later life. But in his earlier life, he came back from London as a politician. He was teaching at the London School of Economics Law, and he came to be General Secretary of the NDC. Now, I interviewed him when he first came to Ghana to fight for a seat in the seat that is now occupied by Nilante Van der Poy, the former mayor of Accra. Between him and Fritz Bafo, the seat that they have, it was one seat, including where Esla also is. It was all one for a lady named Theresa Ameletego. Ameletego also passed. Josiah competed with Ameletego in the year 2000. And Josiah told me in an interview that he thinks that there's something wrong with Ghana's parliamentary distribution. And I asked him why. He said, how can he, Josiah Aye, win 35,000 votes in Dansoman, and he is not in parliament? Because Ameletego got 52,000. That was how big the Dansoman constituency was in the year 24 years ago. Ameletego got 52,000 and got elected. He got 35,000 and he wasn't elected. So I asked him that, but what's wrong with that? You lost the election. He said, yes, I lost, but now look at this. And listen to the example he gave. John Dramani Mahama. This interview is 2001. Josiah said, John Mahama. And we didn't know today will come. He said, John Mahama comes from Boli Bamboy. Do you know how many votes he got to win? I said, no, 7,000. And I said, oh, that's interesting. He said, but that's what you journalists should be talking about. He didn't know the agenda that was set in favor of his party. I just come from London. Obroni man. He didn't understand. So I was telling him that, this is really, he said, but that is the point. You journalists should be talking about that. How can somebody come to parliament with 7,000 from Boli Bamboy? 7,000 is what he got. 7,000. He won. I had 35,000 Ghanaians voting for me and they don't have representation. The Boli Bamboy constituency is too narrow, it's too small. It should be added so that everybody who comes to parliament knows that he has come from the strength of 100,000 people. All of us are equally matched in parliament like that. So I had this conversation with Alban Bagbin, the speaker today. This is 2001, 2002. And Bagbin told me that I should tell Josiah that it's not just population that is used. Because Bagbin is from Nadole. And when I checked at that time, I can't remember now, but at that time when I checked, Bagbin's figures were as small as John Mohammed's figures. So he's my friend. I talk to him very often, and I like his, philosophical brain. So I'm always talking to Bagbin those days. These days, he's speaker, so we don't have to talk to him like that. All right. So I went to him and we were talking, and he said, Josiah must understand that the parliamentary thing is not just about the numbers. That even though in Adole where he is, the numbers may be small, the distances that he travels to go and meet just 3 people is significant. If they were talking about the land size, Josiah will understand that Mahama and him also are representing people. After all, Saba said that land in Ghana belongs to the living, the dead, and the yet to be born. So this is the argument we had. And this is why the NDC's path to parliament is very simple. Because small constituencies in Upper East, NDC win all of it. 100 people, 1, 200, 2. But if you come to Bantama, you have 200,000 as one MP. So you may win the seat. So you win the seat in Bantama, and then you win 1 member of parliament, but you have won 150,000 votes. And those 150,000 votes also go to the presidential election. So the president has got 100, and that is why in 2008, Akufo-Addo had won only 2 regions. Here, in 2008, here, the first round, when Akufo-Addo won 49.13%. At that time, there were 10 regions in Ghana. Akufo-Addo won 2. And with 2, he had 4,159,439. Now, Professor Mills won 8 regions. And with 8, he had 4,056,630 for 47%. He was 2 percentage points behind Akufo-Addo and 102,000 votes behind Akufo-Addo. Even though Professor Mills had won 8 regions, Akufo-Addo had won 2. Akufo-Addo was about to be elected president. That is how the map of Ghana is shaped. So the MPP always have an easier path to the presidency. So on election night, in fact, there's been no election that I have covered that the first results that come show NDC winning. All the first results show MPP leading in the presidential. By the time we do first 35 constituencies, you put it there, NPP is always leading. Because the MPP's path to the presidency is easier. They have the numbers in the agriculture belt. But the NDC path to parliament is easier because they have small parliamentary seats in their strongholds. That's how it works. Okay, now let's move on and deal with it. So, timer, I've ended one section. This is very, very important. So I've ended one section. Let's start a new section. All right, so we're going on now. So this is the way in which the parties have appeared in these elections. We are now going to the regional analysis to look at each region. Each region. How does it work? How does it work in each region when NDC is losing, MPP is losing? We'd like to begin with the Greater Accra region. Okay, so this is the Greater Accra region, the way in which it works in our elections. Now, it is the capital, and it has always been said that except in 2020, whoever wins the regional capital always wins the presidential election. That's what it's always been. Akufo-Addo changed that in 2020. Many things changed in 2020. Ghana and America had been voting the same way since 1992. It's only in 2020 that we changed. What do I mean? In America, if the Democrats win, the NDC wins. If the Republicans win, the MPP wins. That's how it has been. In 2020, the Democrats won, the MPP won. That's the first time that it's changed. What's going to happen in 2024? I don't know. But let's focus on this one. All right, so you have 2008 Greater Accra region. Akufo-Addo in the first round picks 45% of Greater Accra region. NDC has 52%. NDC wins Greater Accra region in 2008 by 101,000 votes. You remember we're saying that Nana Akufo-Addo won just 2 regions in 2008 and was almost winning the presidency. Nana Akufo-Addo, after winning 2 regions, and Professor Mills winning 8 regions in Greater Accra, in fact, Professor Mills beat Akufo-Addo by 100,000, the same margin Akufo-Addo was leading across the nation. That must be very significant, viewers, if you are following. Professor Mills in one region beat Akufo-Addo by 100,000. Professor Mills went on to win 7 other regions out of the 10. Akufo-Addo won only 2. At the end of winning 2, and Professor Mills winning 7, including beating him in Greater Accra by 100,000, Akufo-Addo was still leading the count by 100,000. That should tell you what I'm talking about. That's what we have found out, and I hope you are getting the same thing. MPP's path to presidency is easier because look at how much Professor Mills had worked. He has won 8 regions. In one region, he has beaten his opponent by 100,000. The opponent has just won 2 regions. 2 regions put together puts the opponent in the presidential seat short of 25,000. That's significant. Okay, so as you are listening to this, stop listening to the politicians, look at the figures, and you see that the 2024 election could be a completely different kettle of fish. All right. In the year 2012, NDC wins again. So John Mahama is obtaining 52% in Greater Accra region. Akufo-Addo is getting 46%, and John Mahama is winning by 115,000 difference. Okay, so when NDC are winning the elections, their Greater Accra region should be looking in a certain way. If NDC is going to win 2024, when the Greater Accra results are coming, should be looking in a certain way. NDC should be picking 52% of Greater Accra region and should be commanding a difference between they and the MPP about 100,000, all other things being equal. All other things being equal. If you are NDC and you want to gauge, use Greater Accra region to gauge whether you are doing well in the national situation, you would have to see or you would have to receive results from Greater Accra region that is putting your party at about 52% at the end of the presidential count. and giving you a lead of about 150,000, mimicking what happened in 2012. And then you can start exciting yourself on the night of election that this is a good night, this is looking good, this is a pretty night for the NDC. If you don't see that, then there's trouble coming, all things being equal. If you are MPP, on the other hand, and we see it here in 2016, Akufo-Addo in 2016 is winning Greater Accra by 52% and picking up a difference of 116,000. And that's what gave Akufo-Addo the whooping, commanding experience of 2016. Now let's come to 2020 for MPP. 2020 is still very tight. It's still very tight for both parties. NPP is actually losing Greater Accra region to John Mahama, 48% for Akufo-Addo, 51% for John Mahama, and NDC wins by 53%. Now, what does this tell us about Greater Accra? This means that Greater Accra is actually an NDC place, and that NDC should be able to consolidate it, and that MPP can, however, steal it. Because you see, if you can be losing by 73,000 in Greater Accra and still win the national election by a difference of 500,000, it means that MPP can do, even if they are not winning in Greater Accra, the presidential. That is why the presidential looked like what it looked like in 2020, and the parliamentary looked completely different, because the MPP's path to presidency is always easier. They always have a huge vote to start the presidential election from Ashanti and Eastern. And the NDC will have to start the night of the presidential election by clawing back, and hoping that they can claw back to the point where the NPP is not making first round. Because as soon as the presidential election starts, if you add Ashanti margins and Eastern margins, the NPP is almost starting from about a 2 million, 1.8, 1.6, that the NDC must now start clawing back. Greater Accra should claw some back. Western should take some back. Western North, OT region, Volta region, Northern region, Bono region. They all have to claw back on these figures. And in 2008, they couldn't claw it back until Akufo-Addo could not get a 25,000 to make the threshold. So that's how the presidential elections looks. And the parliamentary elections also look the way it looks, isn't it? All right. So NPP here shows that they can lose Greater Accra by 73,000 and still win. So on election night, if you are MPP and you are losing Greater Accra in the presidential by, say, 40,000, you are not bothered yet. You still don't need to be bothered. All other things being equal, you are still in a good position. It may still be a good night. If, however, you are NDC and you see that NDC is winning Greater Accra, but is not winning it significantly by more than 73, getting to the 100,000, 100 and something, and they are winning it by 35,000, 40,000, all the Greater Accra presidential, is a grey night. You have to wait to see what's happening in the other regions to be able to make a determination for yourself. So that will be the presentation for Greater Accra. That's one file. Let's move to another region. All right, Ashanti. Here's Ashanti region. So in 2008, in Ashanti region, you'll find that Akufo-Addo wins 72% of the votes. Professor Mills gets 25%. Akufo-Addo wins by 776. Okay, ignore the second round of 2008. Let's come back to 2012, the election that NDC won. Akufo-Addo is getting 70% of Ashanti, not 72, 70. John Mahama is getting 28, not 26 that Professor Mills got, 28%. And it's getting, the difference between the two parties, however, is at 918,000 in 2012. Okay. And then in 2016, Akufo-Addo is getting 76%. John Mahama goes down to 23%. The difference is 1.1 million. In 2020, Akufo-Addo gets 71%. John Mahama is on 26%, improving from 23%, and the difference is 1.42 million. What does this map tell us? Now, this tells us that the population growth in Ashanti region since 2008, I mean the voter population growth, in Ashanti region since 2008 up to 2020 has been in favor of the MPP, and I'll tell you why. So you will see that the percentages of the MPP, a 71% victory in the MPP, which in 2008, a 72% gave the MPP a difference. In 2008, the MPP got 72% in Ashanti. NDC got 26% in Ashanti. The difference was 776,000 in the presidential. In 2020, MPP gets the same 71% in Ashanti. NDC gets about the same, 26% in Ashanti. The difference now is not 776, but it's 1.1 million. With the same percentage distribution, the New Patriotic Party is picking up in Ashanti in 2020 1.1 million of the votes. It means there's been a certain population growth, a certain trajectory that has been in favor of the MPP. So on election night, if you are MPP and you see your figures in Ashanti showing that your presidential candidate, Muhammadu Bawumia, is winning 70 or less than 70% in Ashanti, it's beginning to look very shaky for you, MPP. On the other side, if you're NDC, your presidential candidate must be pushing at least 30% to 31%. What is the NDC looking for in Ashanti? The NDC is looking in Ashanti that the difference between the MPP and the NDC will be around 776, as it was in 2008. If the difference at the end of voting, irrespective of the percentages, is showing that the MPP have a margin of more than 1.1 million over the NDC from Ashanti, that's a problem for NDC. It's getting to be a very difficult night. If you are combining that with a Greater Accra 50,000 and you are combining that with defeat in Central Region, the night is almost over for NDC. If you are MPP and you've lost Greater Accra by 150,000, that is combining with the defeat in Central Region, that is combining with your victory in Ashanti Region, reading a margin of 70-something, it's over. It's over for the MPP on the night of election. So these are the indicators that we're going to use to create our own strong room. In as far as the elections is concerned, I'm being beckoned to end this one. We can continue this with other regions next week, can't we? So we can do other things tonight. We have other things to do tonight. Eastern region. I'll end here. I'll end on Ashanti. This analysis is going to continue. So we'll be coming to you with more. Let me get the let's get the book guys interview. Perhaps we'll do the American one on Tuesday as well. Do we still have time on Tuesday before the American election? Is there space? Okay, maybe. All right. So let's get the book guy in whilst we look at the text messages and see what people are saying.
All right, so thank you, Paul. This is coming from Adam Alhaj, and it says, Paul, I would suggest to Mr. Haruna Idrisi that the party has to write to the speaker before that decision can be taken by the speaker. The last time I checked, NPP has not written to the speaker, so what's the point he's making? The tactics by Haruna Idrisu is premature ejaculation. Gideon says the parliamentary distribution is not fair, it should be equal numbers. Junior Akbar from Tamale says Ghana needs a brand new tier-rubber president, not a second-hand president who cannot boast even one social intervention when he was a vice president 4 years ago. Now, Kobe Johnson says that's a very prudent solution to go about the mining in Ghana. Ghanaians must back Dr. Bawumia's idea to solve the problem surrounding this whole Galamsey issue. Samuel Fosu regarding the Black Stars football this afternoon says, today I'm watching you live from UK. We are listening to you, yet with sorrowful feelings because the Black Stars footballers of Ghana had made everyone sad. I'm praying the NDC fraternity won't politicize the failure of the Black Stars against Akufo-Addo's government. And lastly, Junior Akbar says, Ghanaian football is dying slowly. I think we have to wake up to save the Ghana football. What do you have first, Tara?
From Nana Kweku Oware Jr. Paul, I'm enjoying the analysis from Cornwall, UK. From Yakubu Abdul Jalil Nendo, one-touch victory for MPP is rest assured, it's possible. And from Kweku Critical Thinker, I can't wait, I pray it happens on time. An insightful and factual journalistic dynamite. You have lived it way back from Legon. Keep it up, bro. What do you have for us, Antoinette?
Yes, so Gideon Kwashi is complaining about the distribution in Parliament. He says that the parliamentary distribution is not fair at all. It should be equal numbers. Narrow says, Mr. Paul, we all understand that there are advantages and disadvantages of incumbency. I do believe Dr. Bawumia is benefiting from using state resources for his campaign. Now back to the GFA and the Ghana Black Stars. William Denchi says, Paul, what happens if this incompetent and ineffective GFA is dismissed from office by the government? Can't Ghana be better off kicking them out and be banned than allowing these clueless and incompetent guys to commit suicide with our football? He adds, sack them and let's rebuild Ghana soccer together. Now, lastly, Baba chairman from Tamale says, until the authorities in Ghana bite the bullet and disband the Ghana's FA and the national football team and reconstitute the team with only local players, we shall never find our feet. Now, we have a message from Pink Clinic. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as part of the celebration, Metro TV will commemorate the day with a free breast cancer and general health screening exercise. I'm therefore inviting you to join us at the AMA Gardens near Tema Station, Accra Central, on 25th October 2024 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. prompt. Come and have your breast checked as you enjoy free general health screening and some good music. Let us give hope to breast cancer patients. Get your pink on and join the fight. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, all right, let's get straight to the interview. And PSC Ochodako has written a book that is to be launched on Thursday, and he's here with us. PSC, so tell us the title of the book and what's in it. We know that it's about Ghana's history.
Ghana's independence struggle. No?
Yes.
The unfinished task.
Aha. So tell us about it. What's the unfinished task?
This book is talking about the aspiration of the founding fathers that we have abandoned. And, you know, Chine Achebe says something that the white man has put the knife of what hold us together, and now we have fallen apart. So they conceived an idea that they want to rebuild the African nationalism. So we're not just driving the Europeans away, we're driving them away to build a modern state after the African heritage. So that is why they chose the name Ghana, with the belief that there was an ancient Ghana which was a glorious kingdom, a golden kingdom. And therefore, with the belief in themselves as Africans, they could build a first-class African state, not after a Western pattern, but after an African pattern. So J.B. Danquah told the British that British freedom is grand, but he preferred the Gold Coast freedom. For us to be well governed, we have to get the Gold Coast liberty. In other words, we have to build our modern state after an African culture and after an African belief system. So what I see is that we lack a common philosophy as a nation. If you look at great nations like America, they have their ideals that they cherish. They have a common philosophy. Like, we hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They have used this to create laws, policies, aspirations for their country, movies, books, and that is what is driving them. Barack Obama says something that they do not take pride in the size of their economy or military or skyscrapers, but they hold this.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous. It keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah.
Yes, in every generation on the earth, God sends special messengers with unique messages to fulfill His word in their dispensation. Whether through the Emancipator, church services, special conferences like the New Christian Conference, or the Good Life Devotion, carefully listen, watch and read the message of life and of the divinity of the church ministered by Dr. David Bindan, as ordained by God in the scriptures to mature the body of Christ into the full measure of the stature of Christ. Dr. David Bindan, taking us on our journey in Christ into sinlessness, sicklessness, deathlessness, lacklessness, and leaving us manifested sons of God to the glory of our Father. Hallelujah.
Join Dr. David Bindan on the Good Life Devotion every Monday to Friday on this channel and receive truth that will usher you into the divine life experience of sinless holiness, incorruptible health, deathlessness, and reigning in life as a son of God in the full measure of the stature of Christ.
Kindly note that you can enjoy the Good Life devotion on these other platforms at their stated times. Do choose the most convenient one for you or switch to another in case of a broadcast challenge with your usual platform. By all means, don't miss the Good Life devotion any day. Now, welcome to today's episode with Dr. David Binden.
Wow, praise the Lord, hallelujah. It's such a joy once again to welcome you to today's special episode of our favorite Good Life devotion. I am really excited, and I believe you are also, for us to meet, especially because we are meeting over a meal of the Word of God Almighty in the name of our dear Lord Jesus and by the power of the Holy Ghost. So, another reason for our excitement is because we are gradually inching towards the all-awaited for New Creation Conference 2024, which is barely a month from now. On the 14th and the 15th of November, all roads are going to lead to the Accra International Conference Center, 5:30 p.m. each evening. We are going to have a special time in God's where we're dealing with the subject of deathlessness. A lot of people don't yet understand
I see. When is the launch of the book then?
It's going to be on this Thursday.
Please.
You can get some at the EPP bookshop.
Okay.
The EPP bookshop. And
let me have a look at this copy. Okay. Yes, that's the book. Okay. Closer. Struggle, the unfinished task, and is written by the foreword is by Professor Bafo Ajimandua, our own Bafo Ajimandua. He wrote the foreword, and It's by Bema PC Ochridako. Ghana's independence struggles and the unfinished business. It's quite a heavy book. And a little bit about the author is here. Bema Ochridako, affectionately called PSC or Apostle, is a nationalist preacher. You're a priest whose message is focused on a new university and an MBA at Accra Business School. He's the author of a number of books, which includes The Oil in You, Africa in Prophecy, The Dreams of a New Ghana, Reality or Myth, The Princess from Eden, Africa, Ghana Mission. Is that a religious organization? Awake Africa, Ghana Mission?
Not really, but we do preach African liberation with biblical perspective.
African liberation from the biblical perspective?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, I have worked with a number of organizations.
In mechanical engineering?
Yes.
But now you don't do that anymore?
No. Now more on
publishing?
ministry. Yeah, I'm publishing.
Okay, so you're preaching gospel or you're preaching African liberation?
All of So I do
gospel, like born again, you know.
Sure.
You lead people to Holy Ghost baptism,
yeah,
things like that. Charismatic?
Sure.
I see.
All right. You can ask Professor Eche.
Professor Eche Sikanko?
Yeah.
Oh, you know him?
From Presec.
Ah, you were in Presec too?
Yeah. So
during your days, Bernard Avila was in the SU, wasn't he?
No, Bernard
was your senior?
No, junior. Bernard is a senior to me.
Ah, he's a senior to you?
Yes.
But Prof is your mate, Eche?
Yes.
I see. Which house were you in?
Clark House.
Oh, Clark House, that's behind me. Okay. House in Engman, so take one or two text messages and then be wrapping it up. Fatih looks very tired. She's always tired on Tuesdays. I don't know what she does at the weekend every Tuesday. Thursday she's not tired, but Tuesday she's just too tired. Fatih, how was the weekend?
It was okay.
Let's hear you.
Analysis. He says the last time the Black Stars of Ghana failed to qualify for the AFCON was in 2004 under an NPP government, and the NPP went on to win the elections in the same year. Now in 2024, the Black Stars of Ghana find themselves in a very difficult, if not impossible, in Libya this afternoon. He's asking the question, are we about to witness history repeat itself in 2024?
From Don Color, I really love this program too much. And lastly, from Fred Malsanya.
The outcome of this election is known already. George Boampen says, we tried. This book will be very good, and it's an intelligence book.
What's your last word on this program, PC? What's your last word on this program? When should people attend? And why should they attend? Why should they come to the lunch?
Okay, I want to tell the people of Ghana that all is not lost. It is time for us to unleash that hope and build a first-class state that Nkrumah had wanted to build. And I do believe that with unity, we will be able to build a first-class nation. The book is calling for a number of advocacy, and therefore I would want every Ghana that Ghana will be a first-class country.
Okay, that's it. After 21 minutes past 11, Tuesday we'll bring you the American election. We still have time. Maybe 2 weeks to the American voting. We'll bring you that. Professor Sikanku made his way all the way to the studio, but our time did not permit us. We'll be right back after. That's it. Right back. No, we're closing. First, we see what is going to Karaga in the northern region. Tel was in the studio today. We said hello. I'll be going to his studio to get an interview in Tamale. I'm coming to Tamale. I hear I have a lot of fans there, but I have a lot of people also want to hit my head. I'll see you in Tamale when I come. That's good evening, Ghana, for tonight. Good night.